What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Rev-con Podcast.
Oh, you did it.
All right, crickets. So, I'm Peju.
I am Esso.
I'm Lele.
I'm Pastor Bullis Gago, a.k.a. Dr. Bullis Gago.
And today we're going to be discussing the spiritual aspects of African culture versus Christianity.
Steep.
Heavy.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just begin it. I've noticed that with African culture, I'm Nigerian, so I'll stick to that. I've noticed that there are some things that we kind of still lean into with traditions, like giving befitting burials or like chieftaincies and stuff like that. And I've noticed that there are some things that don't necessarily follow along with what I've learned in Christianity. And I'm wondering why we're still even practicing these things. And yeah, that was the question. A lot of you have these same questions like I do. So let's just get into it.
So, I jumped. You saw that? You saw that? I was like, so what you're also saying is, not only are there spiritual things we're dabbling to as Christians to fulfill cultural rights, but you're saying that some of these things actually work. Like,
yes.
If we don't bury our parents right, in some of these traditions, we end up dying.
Yes. I'm wondering why it's working.
Can you tell us more about some more of the...
Okay, so based off of what people have told me, my elders, they're basically saying that, like in Nigeria, is essentially like Igbo culture or tradition. If you don't give a befitting, like your parents pass away, you have to give a befitting burial, which means you're going to the elders of their village, and you're going and you're giving gifts to them, or treating them to a meal of some sort. If you do not do that, and you happen to attend another burial of some sort and eat their food, there's a possibility that you will die. And yeah,
and people have witnessed that it's true. Like you've seen it happen.
It's happened. It's true.
I ate at the last burial, and I'm still here.
Well, thank God none of my parents are dead.
Yeah. So it's like, and I would ask, like, okay, so why is this happening? We're Christians. These are very demonic. We're gonna call it what it is. For some reason, the elders don't like to call it demonic.
No,
they like to say it's tradition. But
Yeah.
if we're calling it what it is, if it's not God, then what is it?
I'm about to unleash you. Here we go.
Okay.
The argument. Thank you. You and guns. I don't know what is going on. When you ask these adults, this is the new trend in Nigeria. Christianity, Islam came from colonization. We were colonized. Christianity is not our thing. We just do Christianity because now it's part of the social construct. We have our own culture. Let's go back to it. I mean, I think Beyonce and them try to make it look like we need to go back, right? One thing I would have told Beyonce is then you were going to sacrifice first. She ain't ready for it.
She ain't ready for it.
Because in our cultures, to go back to the spirits, we got to sacrifice someone daily.
It's a ritual.
We had to sacrifice somebody, and I say we sacrifice the leader first. Beyonce. Right? So, I'm just saying, she makes a wonderful prize to the gods. Anyway. She wanted to go back. Oh, you're quiet. Anyway, no, it's good. So no, but what you are? You see? No, I volunteer. She go first because if she want to go back, let's go back. No, but the problem. I just touched the hive, didn't I? So the problem though is it's like. The Christianity, we've never seen the Christianity, I'm going to use Christianity, as indigenous to us. The culture, we believe, is more us. We and the reason why it works is because we're still dabbling with it. The power of Christ is in name, not in reality for us. So, yeah, I'll go to church. I mean, look, there was a guy that came up to me and said, I am a Muslim, but I'm also a Christian. He came to me and said, pray, whichever of the gods hear me and blesses my business, I'll go with that one. That's what religion is really in a lot of the context, in the Nigerian context. Mm-hmm. Our culture is more of us, and we literally serve God through our culture. And that's how we see God. I mean, like, and I'll leave this here. The colonials, when the colonials came, what did they take as the names of God? In the house, they took our idol names and just made it God in heaven. They just took concepts we already knew of God. That's what they did with the Yorubas too. And they took gods and then took their idea of it and made it Yahweh. This is why when I'm listening to a Christian song, literally from Nigeria, I sit there and go through the lyrics, and you will see how we used to worship our gods up in there.
Yep, definitely.
The God of thunder,
Yep.
the God of rain, the God of power, the consuming fire. Where do you think we got that concept? Because colonials don't use those words.
That's true.
Where do you think we got it from?
That's so good.
Yeah. So we're using ideologies of the past to describe our God. And then we take those ideas. I mean, I don't want to use any of the cultures. Sometimes when one of these dignified mamas from this culture is praying, just go listen. The older ones. And then go to the idol house and listen to them pray. The Oni of Ife was praying the other day.
Oh, boy, yeah.
He was praying, and I was listening to it. You would swear he was praying to Yahweh. You would swear he was praying to our God.
Yeah.
But they say he's Christian, by the way.
Yeah.
This is just so confusing.
Wait, so this is, and that, see, you just said something very heavy right now. You said this is like so confusing, because imagine now, let's like rewind, right? When Christianity was just brought to Nigeria, that's probably what they'll say.
Yeah.
Because it's like, in order for me to understand this, for them to understand, they're gonna have to take that and apply it to what I already know.
Yeah.
And it's like, once they did that, you can't, like, from being a Yoruba, like me being Yoruba man, some being Igbo,
Hausa.
you can't do this to us.
No.
You're gonna almost kill it in the sense of like, that's who we are.
Yeah.
So it almost going back to Christianity, building our own relationship with Christ, because if I don't do that and become renewed with my mind, then I'm still that same person.
Yeah, that's so good.
Because for me, I'm going to speak from my family. We come from chiefs. My grandfather was a chief. And my uncle stopped that. Because him with Christianity, that's everything to him.
Yeah.
Like he does not play around with that at all. And that's why he sees that. People are like, why did you stop doing that? We're supposed to be, but he said, because the rituals that they will do and everything, we're putting our family in danger by doing that. Right? So it's like, now if I go to somewhere else, especially right now, it's being reintroduced. You can put something in the chat about, it was this colonized thing on Instagram. Remember? Like there was this page that they were like, talking about how Christianity was brought to black people, and like how like, you know,
wow, that was a while ago.
Yeah. I remember everything. You know what I mean? But it's true, because even if you look at the songs right now in like Afro music and all that, we're going back to that. If you look at from Fela, what Fela put down, because I know it's gonna be controversial. There's a time I love Fela.
Yeah.
But there's a point where I kind of just listen now for a historical thing. To know where we're at. Because that was a epitome for us. Because it's like, before that generation was what we're talking about with this type of culture, then came this revolution when it was like anti this colonial thing. Let's build our own. And then our parents would look at that like, Fela's crazy. Like, no, Christianity is this way. And then us, we're like, no, Fela was right. Let's go back to that. And I feel like, to sum this up for what I'm trying to say, is like, we have to almost do this rewash of who we are as Nigerians. Because if we don't, this is going to be what you just said, ongoing confusion. We don't know an identity at all.
So you're talking about a rewash aside from even like Christianity?
I think because there's so much tribes in Nigeria.
We need to learn what we are.
We have to identify who we are.
That's so deep.
Yeah, we have to. Because there's some
deep.
beautiful elements of our culture. I love my culture. But there's some areas, like what my uncle had to do, where no to that. We need to come back to that, especially with Christianity, by doing that.
That's so deep.
We have to go back into our culture and see where the gospel actually stands. And if what we are continuing is what it needs to be. I love my culture too. But just think about how Christianity was introduced, right? When they came, Christianity always came with colonial conquest. Whenever the generals came in and cleared out an area, then they established Christianity. So from the beginning, Christianity was forced. Then on top of that, then they opened schools, businesses, and jobs. So if you wanted a job, you had to become a Christian. There was a mass conversion for economic sakes. So Christianity for us always became beneficial economically than transformative. That continued. Christianity became, and by the way, we're just talking 60 years ago.
Right.
That's
probably why we're still where we are.
That's what we're still in.
And that's probably why everyone is so fearful of change.
It was just 60 years ago.
Just 60.
That's my daddy's
really
60.
crazy.
That's not that long ago.
When your dad was born is when they gave us our... We're not that old as a nation.
Yeah.
Africa is not that... We're still trying to figure out how we are. We're still grappling with how our culture intertwines with Christianity, because Christianity was given to us, told us, and it always came with financial benefits. This is why when we're praying to God, it's always financial beneficial. Why? Because it was how Christianity was told it happens. You give your life to the Lord, you won't suffer anymore.
Yeah.
That's how they told us it was.
Yeah.
And so we're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Big props to your uncle, though, because when I talk to some of our elders, they make it seem like they're so powerless to even make that change, from like to separate themselves from traditions, the spiritual tradition stuff, and go full force into Christianity. So like I'm trying to understand how it is that more of them can start building this whole thing of going more into their Christian faith instead of having more faith in
That's the answer.
That's the answer.
Because if you remember in the Bible when the disciples were trying to cast out and they didn't have the power to do it, and then Christ just comes and boom. Yeah. It's almost like we give... Those things exist. I hope people understand that. They exist. It's a spiritual realm. But at the same time, it's like when you have more... Because Nigerians, it's fear first, and not fear of God. Yes, it's fear first. It's like, if you're going, Mom, I'm gonna go get groceries. Hey, be careful when you go in the car.
Going to a friend's house, don't eat none of their food.
You know how you walk through a door and the spider web touches you?
That's it.
Some guy said that's how they filter your destiny as you walk.
Oh my!
Oh no!
For about 2 weeks,
That's
or even some animal's head on the top of somebody's door. Wow. Like you better be careful. All that stuff.
But what energy is that?
Demonic.
But what if someone's telling you that it's fear of what? You see what I'm saying? They don't have the fear of God. That can't touch me.
Exactly.
I can eat foods all the titles. They do nothing.
Right.
So we're essentially the ones giving the power to this.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm just light bulb. I'm sorry. This has been something that I've been having questions about all this time. It's like I know the Christian faith, but why are we so held down by the traditional aspects of things?
Faith makes God and the devil work.
Wow.
Faith is believing in God. Fear is faith in what the devil can do. Right? So if
just that simple.
So if you give power to the devil through your faith, and that's called fear. Yeah. It works.
Wow.
It works. And I can almost hear somebody right now saying, well, then if Christianity was forced, get rid of it then. Let's go back to what we were. Well, check this out. Although it came in wrong, we saw that it was true.
Yes.
This is why Christianity is a relationship between you and God.
Right.
If you've tasted and see that God is real, doesn't mean throw the bathwater baby out.
Right.
Because it was forced. Bad things could be, it was forced. Oh, I saw that it was God. You know what? We'll deal with colonialism, but we need to go back and say, okay, then if it is true, let me look at my culture. What should go? What should stay?
I have a question.
Yes.
And I hope the world don't hate me for this. But I don't care actually. But look, Africa, pre-colonial time.
Yes, sir.
Not a great time.
No.
Africa.
When they say
it's that.
I'm going somewhere. Yeah. I love my country. I want people to understand that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but this is gonna hurt some people. But we have to have this conversation, especially as Africans. Anytime an African American comes to me, like a Black American, I understand their pain. Yeah. Because if you look at what happened in the history, we did, and so let's just take if that story happened. I'm trying to take away from saying not saying certain things. So I'm just gonna describe stuff. Yeah. If we take what happened in Nigeria, just use Nigeria or West Africa during that time, and put it in biblical times, and you read that story in the Bible, when you see a king selling away someone.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think will happen? And he calls something a god.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen to that god?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, now what do you think will happen to the
Yeah.
fruit of that?
Yeah.
Moving.
I see what you mean.
You see what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
without trying to say it?
Yeah.
So it's like, so to end that up, it's like, we have to own up on the evil that happened.
Yeah.
And it's like,
We selling ourselves?
we're selling ourselves
Yeah.
with giving power to something that is not of God.
Yeah.
And still trying to give power to that thing to this day.
Yeah.
Because if we truly understand who Jesus Christ is, who God is, like there's no other gods before me. Like there's no other God before me. Period.
Yeah.
But for someone to still have fear into that particular thing, they're giving power to that whole thing I talked about right now.
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna go in even a little bit deeper.
Okay, please do, because I know I'm a little hesitant.
there was a place in the East where, at the shore of the beaches, they created a cult and put a god there, and that god had priests. As part of offering sacrifices to those gods, they captured their enemies, other Nigerians, and sold them to the colonials to please God. And so, if I was going to be righteous, I needed to sell Nigerians. And then, on top of that, it became a business at the shore, where it became God's work. We're not talking about God. We're talking about our idols in Nigeria. It became a way to serve God by selling our brothers and sisters. It became so much of a business that every time you wanted to do transaction, you went to the priests to sell other Nigerians. So whenever somebody comes up to me and says, let's get rid of Jesus and go back to our old gods, I'm saying, which ones? You over here talking about they enslaved us and colonized us in the name of Jesus, right? But we did worse, man. Ours was not just colonization. For the sake of God, we killed our kin and gave them to slavery. So none of the gods are vindicated then. You just got to test and see. And so we've mashed gods and in fact went to a party once. The person opened up with a prayer. Then the witch doctor came to dedicate the program to the gods of the family. Same event. The pastor, then the witch doctor came in. We're confused.
Very.
Because religion to us is just a means to an end. It isn't a dedication of ourselves. Because we're confused.
I have a question for you, and I'm not gonna say the person because I want to be careful for that.
Yeah.
Can let's say something happened in the Bible where there was a God.
Yeah.
Right, like a false idol, and people started to learn more about Christ. Can that false idol still stand?
Oh no.
Okay, just answer my question.
Oh no.
So you talked about someone earlier today.
Yeah.
And we don't have to say the name, where that person outs his wife.
Yeah.
Can that person still stand?
No.
Because that's what I'm saying. We're so confused in our culture that there's certain things that we're still calling, oh, this is the power of this is the God of this. But if you really understand Christianity, that person is not supposed to be in that type of power.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's
There's
a lot.
So much here.
It's a lot. But when we talk about our African culture, a lot of people they get caught up in this anti-colonial rhetoric. That I am against neo-colonialism and colonialism.
Same here. I want people to know that.
Yeah, for the record.
Yeah, for the record.
I am. But did the evil they bring, quote unquote, end up revealing a gem of Christ? Yes.
Ooh, wow. It
kind of shows you how God works sometimes.
Yes.
It's kind of been a trend how God kind of does things.
Does stuff.
Yeah.
So he brought a gem. And so now I'm sitting here going, look at the vehicle Christ came through. The vessels were wicked.
Yeah.
But even what you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good.
Wow.
Christ still came through. Now we have to look at our traditions and say, what isn't Christ? This doesn't mean lose yourself. Find your identity in Christ. Like Wanda said, we need to just go back and revisit who we are. And my problem with Nigerian religion is it is too dependent on our culture. religion conforms to me in Nigeria. It needs to conform to me and my needs. We're never given to it. At least in Christianity. At least in Christianity. So we need to rediscover who we are and what Christ really means. And he has to be our all. Like he says, there's no God but Yahweh. And we have to see from that perspective. Until then, we'll keep giving powers to our household gods.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so good.
That's really good.
Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. Go ahead.
All right, guys, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below what you want us to talk about, and we will talk about it, maybe, if we're led by the Holy Spirit to do that.
My culture.
Stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.
Love you guys. This ends our season, by the way. So, do something.
I want to say I love Nigeria.
I love Nigeria.
Nigeria, baby!
I just want the best for my country. I just want to know that.
I just want to know. I love us.
I want no one come to my front door. You said? No. All right.